And we're live. All right, guys. Let me know how the audio is, and then once we get a confirmation is good, I'll go ahead and start.
Yeah, I'll test this out too, and I think we should be good to go. Sounds good.
That's what they saying.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, and they can yeah. Are you do you got the screen stream up on your computer or no?
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
you
I
can see the
do.
map, right? All right, cool. All right, cool. Just want to make sure. All right, cool. All right, man. Let's see. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I can't imagine feeling any better, I guess. Like it's an election night, and this for me is just everything. Every 4 years, it's like some people are into the World Cup or like something else, especially with Trump now. So I can't get overconfident, but the numbers I'm seeing out of Florida look really good. President Trump looks to be pretty confident when they spoke to him, and some of his advisors seem pretty confident as well. So it didn't seem like they were putting it on. So that makes me a little more confident.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the videos that President Trump had put out and kind of his little speech before he went into his campaign headquarters, and he seemed pretty confident as well. It seems like at this point, this race is really going to come down to Florida and Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. And I see somebody there stand saying too much blue in the map. Yes, that's not our map. He's
That's
just got that pulled up.
that's the Nate
That's Nate
Silver.
Silver. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
I just started with a default. We're gonna
The genius who missed every toss-up state in 2016.
my bad, guys. I couldn't decide which one to pick. I was like, let me start with Nate Silver and see if how much Mario can change it up a little bit from him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I guess we're pretty good. What we got 300 people right now or so. Might
Yeah,
as
that's what it
well
looked like. My live chat, I can't see anything on the live chat. So
I can see it. I can see it.
okay, makes
But yeah, it looks yeah, there don't worry guys. No, people are saying damn Colorado's blue, hoping for red. I don't know if you can reset that map or
let
what,
me
but
reset.
people
Let
are
me reset
yeah,
it.
don't
People
worry
freaking
guys.
out. No, it's
We
just
didn't make these picks
5:38.
right now. This is Nate Silver's map. We're
Start
not
over with a new
predicting
map.
any of this. Nobody gets scared.
Which one you want to start with? The people's pick or blank map?
Um
Do you have all your picks out for each state or no?
I have a screenshot actually of how I think it's gonna go.
Can we go Clinton Trump? Clinton Trump. You want to start from there? 2016.
Yeah, perfect.
All right,
Perfect.
cool.
Yes, Marquez. He's asking about real numbers. We do have real numbers. The best numbers we have right now are out of Florida. They've been keeping track of these all along. Um, the only problem, if any, with those numbers is that we can only see that they're Democrats, Republicans, or no party affiliation. So that doesn't necessarily tell us how they're going to vote. But the good news on those numbers is Republican turnout is up more, and Republicans are outvoting Democrats in almost every county in Florida right now. They're even outvoting them today in Palm Beach County, which is a Democratic county. So that looks really good. They're killing the margins right now. It looks like in Miami-Dade, that was a county where Hillary won by almost 300,000 votes. It looks like President Trump's taken like 50,000 votes or so. Something really interesting is that in that county where it says there's Democratic votes, we're not necessarily sure that they're going for Democrats because we know President Trump has nearly doubled, if not more than that, with his black vote and the Latino vote, and a lot of those voters are already registered as Democrats. So that's not going to show up until we get real numbers. But when we went into election day in 2016, we were down 113 or yeah, right around 100,000 votes to the Democrats, and we end up winning by 113,000, making it up on election day. This time, although there's less vote coming in today, it's heavily skewed Republican. It's at least 2-1 in most places, if not more. So as it stands now, we're up over 200,000 votes. and we only won by 113,000 back in 2016. So that sounds promising, but again, we don't know how they actually voted.
Yeah, and make sure just let me know what the questions is because again I can't see the live chat.
Yes. So
So just go ahead.
someone said Biden 2020. Somebody must be trolling in here. Um,
Hey
oh,
man,
Mason G said Biden 2020. Yeah, go ahead. You guys, sorry you got to deal with that. I'm not messing with the chat and kicking people out. If it gets really bad, we'll take care of Mason, but it's okay for now.
I can't
Um,
because I can't. My YouTube chat's not working on the back
oh,
end,
all right. Well,
so it
then
might.
we'll just have to ignore it. But yeah, I think that I made a video on this, and I've been talking about this a lot in my last prediction. I also said that this entire election will come down to Florida. So it's nice we have this data now. And I think if we can call Florida sooner than later, as far as how it looks like it's going once the vote comes in, then that's going to tell us whether President Trump's going to be reelected or not. And as I mentioned in that video, Pennsylvania and Michigan for the last 13 elections in a row, or the last 50 years basically since 1972, if Florida moves to the right, they go to the right with it. So last election, President Trump won Florida by 1.2%. And it looks like now that he's going to win by 2 or 3, maybe more. It really depends. If he does that, and he already won Pennsylvania and Michigan, they should move with it. So we have a pretty good track record for that, and that's what I'm hoping for. And that's why I said Florida is so crucial, because these trends, you're going to see them pop up all over the country. If he's running ahead and he's turning out Republicans in Florida, Florida's a pretty good sample for the rest of the country. It's basically a microcosm of the United States. You have a lot of black voters, a lot of Latino voters, a lot of rural white voters, a lot of suburban voters, a lot of urban centers. So you really get a taste of everything in Florida.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I think that's why it's so important historically. I mean, we saw that back in what 2000 with Bush and Gore,
Hmm.
and basically coming down to Florida. So you think that because from the polls I've been seeing, it looks like the race is pretty tied. Some of them have Trump ahead, some of them have Biden ahead. Do you think that Florida is solid? You think what do you give a percent chance that Trump takes Florida right now?
I'm at 75%,
You at
you know?
75%?
Yeah, because here's what I'm scared of. I saw, they have these guys on the news at all these different polling places. And the one guy was in Lauderhills, Florida, which is in Broward County. And right now, it looks like Broward County is their best county in Florida as far as performance with a lot of vote. That's where Fort Lauderdale is. And he showed cars pulling up and just dropping off ballots. So I don't know how many ballots were out there. I don't know. Miami-Dade has not been updating on the map right now, so there could be a ton of vote there. But like I said, President Trump is clearly running better in Miami-Dade. And Tim Murtaugh, who is an advisor to President Trump, was on Fox News. He looked pretty confident, but he made a good point when he said that they're basing all their numbers on what they did in 2016. So where they need to perform, they're expecting to get 8% of the black vote. But all the polls recently, as Murtaugh was saying and Fox said, have him at 14 and 15%. So if
Mm.
he's doubling that black vote, again, most of those black voters probably registered as Democrats. So you're not going to see that till the vote comes out. If he's tied or at 40% with Hispanics instead of 28%, you could be looking at a land. We don't know how those things are really going to go because you can't trust those polls. So the only way we're going to know anything is the second we get a result out of some counties in Florida or Indiana or Ohio, and we can compare them to how Trump was running in 2016 and how he's doing now. And whatever trends you pick up on, they're probably going to be nationwide.
Mario, you should they should hire you at Fox News to do the election
Uh,
coverage, man. Cause you sound like one of those guys that you sound like you up there with Nate Silver and Frank Lutz
oh,
and all those guys.
well, I got better hair than Frank Luntz and better predictions than Nate Silver, I hope. but,
you just sound like you really have a passion for this stuff.
I
You know what
do,
I'm
man.
saying?
You know
Like
what it
that you
is? I love the numbers. And that's why,
yeah.
if you guys can't tell, I have not slept pretty much in a week. I went to bed at 4 a.m. and I woke up at 7 and immediately refreshed the feed on my phone to see how votes were coming in Florida. So I've been deep into these numbers and the trends I'm seeing look good. I'm hoping that it works out because the polls are going to be even worse this time if I'm right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so let's take a look at the map. So you already got Florida going red.
Yep.
What about North Carolina?
Well, North Carolina is interesting. I think this could be the first time that we see North Carolina actually a tiny bit less red than Florida. I don't say that it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised because what you're seeing are states like Georgia and North Carolina and even Texas starting to get more blue because of demographics. You have a lot of people from the Northeast, a lot of liberals that are moving to North Carolina, living in cities like Charlotte. The same thing in Texas and Georgia. If you look back to 2012, I believe Romney won Texas by 16 points. In 2016, President Trump won it by 9 points. And by 2018, Ted Cruz had only beat Beto statewide by 3 points. So obviously, I think President Trump's going to turn out more voters than Ted Cruz. But he might lose or win Texas by a slimmer margin. But then you're seeing states like Michigan and Pennsylvania getting more red from 2012 to 2016 to now. You
Hmm.
have 200,000 net voters more in Pennsylvania Republican registration than you had last time, and he only won by 44,000. So if these trends hold up, I think he looks good. So North Carolina, I think that state is trending a little more blue, but it's not going to go blue. So Florida might go by 3 points, and North Carolina could be 2.5, but it could also be a point higher. But Tim Murtaugh also spoke about North Carolina on Fox, and he said that if you look at counties there, I think he specifically mentioned Rosen County. I can't think of the name, but he said the turnout was up so high. And also in North Carolina, a lot of Democrats are just old school Democrats who just vote Republican. So they're Democrats in name only. So that's not looking too bad as far as the gap between Democrats and Republicans, because Republicans are down to Democrats going into Election Day, but they were down about the same margin, I think, in 2016 and still won. So I feel like North Carolina, if Florida goes red, there's no way North Carolina's flipping this year.
Okay. And what about Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania is really the whole thing. He could still win if he keeps Arizona and wins Michigan, but Pennsylvania, I think that you see how much he's been there. The crowds he's turning out are unbelievable. And I saw another stat, I think, since 2016, they said there's also 200,000 more gun owners in Pennsylvania. So I don't think they're going to be voting for Joe Biden. But that registration gap, that's also a really good number to look at. 88% of the time, I believe, that a state's registration moves in a certain direction, the state's vote moves that way as well. So there's now a narrower gap between Democrats and Republicans in Pennsylvania. But I think Pennsylvania is going to come down to the suburbs because in some places it looks like Biden is overperforming Hillary in the suburbs. And, he has his whole I'm from Scranton shtick that he does. And, Scranton and Claymont and whatever, the kitchen table routine. So that could resonate, but I think Pennsylvania voters are smarter than that and they're going to see through that. I'm just scared of any sort of fraud there. Pennsylvania, I think, is going to be close, but if he wins, it'll be by a bigger margin than last time. But he only won by 7/10 of a point, right? So let's say this time Florida goes to 1.7 for Trump instead of 1.2, then Pennsylvania might be at 1.2. They were about a half a point apart, but I think if Florida goes, Pennsylvania is going with it. I'm just scared that with a lot of these mail-in ballots, and they're saying they won't release some numbers till Friday, and all that stuff, it just is ripe for some sort of foul play to happen. And
Yeah,
I hope
especially.
that they
Yeah,
got
go ahead.
lawyers there. I just hope they got lawyers on the ground and they have people there because I'm sure you guys are seeing all over Twitter stuff like where they're showing poll watchers getting denied in some urban parts of, in Philadelphia. And some people are saying they waited in line for hours and then were told the polling location was closed. So all that stuff is pretty scary. So I think if things go right and things are done fairly, I think he wins Pennsylvania, probably by a point, maybe even up to 2 points.
Got it. And yeah, and that's interesting too because Pennsylvania, that state has been big on fracking. That's a
Mm-hmm.
significant part of the economy, and President Trump is his last push was, hey, we're going to protect fracking. And, Biden has been basically flip flopping on fracking, but we know where his heart lies. I think he wants to ban fracking. So I think that, that issue could, play a part in, where Pennsylvania goes. And could have played a part really in 2016 when he won it as well there. Um,
And
so go ahead.
Pennsylvania is going to be a great test run here. Is that for sure the Republican Party, specifically because of Donald Trump, has made inroads with a lot of minority voters. That's
Yeah.
just a fact. If he loses somehow, he's going to do it with double the black vote he got last time. No Republican will have hit these numbers since Reagan, right? He's going to expand on the Hispanic vote. He's bringing everybody in, and he's actually making a coalition. They talked about that Obama coalition in
Hmm.
2008 and then 2012, bringing it back. And I think the Republicans are doing that now, and that it's a mixture of people. But what's happening is a shift where you are, especially because of COVID, seniors were a huge group for President Trump, where now a lot of polling, take it for what you want, but the polling saying that he's losing them a little. And then also suburban women, in the suburbs in general. But then he's making up some of that ground. And I think that's what this is going to come down to, just like in Florida. If he's picking up a lot of Hispanic vote and black vote in Miami-Dade County, but then he's losing a little in the suburbs, like in Pinellas and Hillsborough County, in some of these areas outside of Tampa, Sarasota, even, right, Duval County, Jacksonville. He could lose some of those, but he can make it up with minority votes. So that's what's really interesting here. And then you see the senior vote. I think it's in Sumter County where the village is. Most of it's located there,
Hmm.
retirement community. The turnout's at like 90%. But again, Republicans have a bigger edge than they did last time. So if they're not flipping over to Democrat, he's still looking even better there.
Yeah, yeah, I think the minority vote is going to be interesting, and that's, I mean, primarily what I'm interested in is that these Rasmussen polls coming out, Rasmussen polls coming out, saying that they're 20,
Yeah.
30% of the black vote, and if that turns out to be true, then Trump has to win in a landslide, right?
And yeah, oh, absolutely. And there's something really interesting about those polls because even the ones that are showing him would say 15%, right? I think it was a Gravis poll. They had Trump losing by 6 nationally, 50 to 44.
Hmm.
In that poll, it said he had something like 30 something percent approval and black approval. And then it was 23% was strongly approved, right? But only 14% voting for him and 22% said they were undecided. So that makes no sense because in any poll, usually whatever the candidate gets in their approval, they beat it by a point with the actual vote. So
Hmm.
a 30% black approval should end up being a 31%. And if you look at any of the other numbers, it adds up, right? Like if he's got a 56% white approval, he's getting 56% of the white vote in there. But in these polls, they're saying 20% undecided, 15% undecided. So you want to talk about a shy Trump voter, you can speak to that, Greg. If you're a black Trump supporter, you want to tell people and put it out to the world, it's tough, especially in the inner city. You're in Philly, you want to tell people, so I think that we really could see a massive shift, even if he loses. Even if he loses, he's changed the party.
Well, I think exactly, and I think here's the thing, about the black voting. The liberal black female has already come out, or the liberal black woman. Let me say that liberal black woman has come out and basically, they've led the charge in terms of the far left agenda for the Democrat Party. And essentially, what they also do is that any black male who decides to go against that, they lead the charge in terms of trying to bring that person down, taking their black card, working against them, saying they're coons, sellouts, Uncle Toms, etc. So they've already lined it up that if President Trump wins, we're going to take the blame for it. So
Right.
there's a lot of black male Trump supporters that just are not saying anything. They're
Right.
just they're silent. They're
And,
silent.
and you know what's funny? Just totally off thing, but it's really funny is that it was white women that were getting on black women saying, "Oh, you're the reason, he won," and black women were getting on white women saying, "Oh, it's because of you that he won," right?
Yeah.
And everybody's pointing the finger. And I think what's really funny is they showed a chart for how people are voting based on the most common first names in America, and
Hmm.
Karen was going 60-40 for Biden. So when you want to talk about the Karens, those are Biden voters,
Yeah,
okay? But
exactly.
you're right. They are going to be blamed, and you're going to see the black community will finally see the true colors of the Democrats if they push Trump over the
Over the
finish
top.
line.
Yep.
Oh my God, they're going to see such a turning that they're going to come in even higher numbers. And I think it's great because we've talked about this before that I think you know would I guess you have to generalize, but to say that most black people are more conservative just by nature, traditional values, church going, male and female traditional gender roles. So they fit in socially into the Republican Party. And I think now the Republican Party is the party of the working man. It's the working class party. All Biden's donors are coming from wealthy areas, and all Trump's donors are coming from rural areas, suburbs, small cities, small towns. So it's really it's a total change.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think Wall Street, and we can talk about that at some point. But I think Wall Street um, agrees with that. I think they have a Biden win on the horizon. That's my opinion from Wall Street based off the market the last 2 days basically shooting up about 1,000 points. And the reason why is because I think that they're factoring in Trump is going to win or Biden wins, but regardless of who wins, I think they see the Senate turning blue. Even though those races are tightening up as well, and if that happens, then I think that increases the chances for stimulus, which is what the market has been responding to basically since this whole Corona thing. So I think that's like I said. I think the market really doesn't care who wins the presidency. What they really care about is what happens with the Senate. Um, and
Yeah,
that's
and
why. Go ahead.
well, that's the scariest part to me. I think that a lot of people are focusing so much on the presidency that they're neglecting to realize that if we lose the Senate, they will pack the court, and our only
Yeah.
protection from their radical laws is having the Supreme Court, right? If they
Yeah.
pass some crazy stuff, the court's going to shoot it down. But if they throw in some more justices, we lose that too. And
Yeah.
and that to me is just terrifying.
Yeah.
That's like the nightmare scenario. They take the Senate, and we're just in major trouble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw 538 Nate Silver, the wrong guy.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
he gave it. I think it was an 80% chance that the Democrats take the Senate, but those races have been tightening up apparently. So
Oh
we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see where it goes. But for me, when I'm talking about, and I'll just switch over here to the Dow Jones. We're talking about what's going on with the market and what it's responding to, and how it's going to play out tomorrow morning based off what happens tonight. Like I said, I mean, for the most part, it has been responding to whether or not we're going to get a stimulus. If the Senate stays red and Biden wins, you best believe Mitch McConnell's not passing a stimulus. After what Nancy Pelosi did, they're just not going to do it. But if they stay red and then Trump wins as well, what'll happen is, in my opinion, is that they'll pass a stimulus. Is it going to be a $2 trillion stimulus? No, but I think they'll go back to kind of the skinny stimulus, the more targeted stimulus, the more business focused stimulus.
Right.
So that's a scenario in which I think the market will be positive in that scenario as well too. So I think the market is at this point hopefully is not seeing a I think the market is not seeing a stalemated Congress and presidency, which is why it's jumped up, and they're seeing a scenario where we will get some type of stimulus in terms of who's going to win. Now there's multiple outcomes in which that can happen, either under Trump or Biden, but I think
Right.
it really comes down to that essentially in terms of what's going to happen with the market. So I think it was interesting because it dropped. I think it had a huge drop. Let's see. Yeah, I mean last week on Wednesday on the 28th it was down 3.4%,
Yeah.
almost 1,000 points. And then Friday, then Thursday it basically stayed the same, and then Friday it dropped a little bit more, and then it really shot back up and made up ground yesterday and today. So I think they kind of changed their mind in terms of how they feel the election is going in regards to whether or not we're going to get some type of stimulus moving forward. But that's really what's moving the market at this point, guys. People that are trading off this stuff, but like I've always told people, regardless of what happens, you should be invested for the long term. And, even if the market does go down tomorrow, that's a good buying opportunity. However,
For
that
sure.
it may not be necessarily a good look for a stimulus,
And
if that happens. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, man, I think that no matter who wins re-election, we will see a huge correction. The market's going to tank. Everything's going to crash. There's so much sugar that they're pumping out there by printing more money with these stimulus bills, these
Oh yeah.
trillions of dollars because of COVID, right? That's all going to catch up soon. You can only do this for so long. So what's going to happen is if and this is kind of like a nightmare dream scenario for me at the same time that if President Trump loses, and I had made a video on this, I'm sure none of you guys have seen it, so I'll tell you. Um, I made
Go
it.
ahead and plug your channel. Well, we got
Oh
about a
yeah,
thousand people in here.
yeah, guys, go subscribe. That's my name in the blue link. If you subscribe, you'll probably never see my stuff because nobody gets notifications. My own brothers, my father, nobody's seen it. So you're not going to get anything, but at least you're subscribed. At least you got a shot. So if you like what I'm saying and you want to hear more, check me out there. Um, but now that that's over with, um, as I was saying, God, where was it? Oh, that it's going to crash, right? And
Did
if
your light turn out, Mario?
what's that?
Did your light turn out?
No. Oh yeah,
You look you looking dark on my
I don't know.
screen.
I don't know why it's so dark.
Well, as long as you up, I guess that's what matters. You just don't look as good, but you already pretty good looking.
Hey, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't know why I can't nothing's working right now. I can't hear myself. I can't hear anything.
You say you can't hear yourself.
My settings.
Can you hear me,
Okay, this is on.
Mario? Can you hear me?
Oh, that's why. This camera.
Hey man, there you go.
just to get back to where I was like a week ago. 'Cause they just take like 20 or 30 every day. It's like, man. But yeah, the good news is one of these exit polls, it shows the top issues of the economy, but you can't trust these at all because like they just somebody just retweeted yeah, we're up to 185 now. It's creeping back up.
Is the oh my god, this thing is
Yeah,
what's that?
I think we're on.
Yeah, it probably because I made it stream so we can be on.
Yeah.
Can you see us?
Yeah. I can see us on the
All
screen.
right. Yeah, it's connected. I'm just not in the back end for the YouTube chat.
Okay. All right, guys, we're back.
Um,
Yeah, so
yeah,
we see
man.
you again. Okay, yeah, we're coming back up. Um, yeah, guys, so I don't know, they took us down or what. We had 1,000 viewers and then started going down, but some of these exit polls are coming out right now. So there's a lot of information in there, but they're really hard to trust. Somebody actually just retweeted Frank Luntz, if you guys know who he is, the guy who does the focus groups and everything, and he tweeted 4 years ago, Trump voters either lied to us or refused to talk because the exit polls were so bad. So, you know, take these with a grain of salt. But the good news is, in one of CNN's exit polls, the most voters said that the economy was their top issue. So that's a good sign if that's accurate. But then again, who knows? And
Yeah, I agree with that. The economy always determines who's it's a big factor in terms of who's gonna get elected. If the economy is bad, you don't have a good chance. But if the economy is good, a lot of people don't want to go
yeah,
away
they
from that. That's
they
for
also
sure.
asked them, who do you think your financial situation is better off now or 4 years ago? And 41% said better and 38% said about the same. So only 20% said they're doing worse. So overall, I think that's pretty good too. And again, I think these polls are off. Obviously, Trump supporters aren't going to participate as much in this stuff. They're just not.
Yeah. They're not. So you think that the silent Trump voter is a significant effect that's going on right
Oh,
now?
I definitely do. And the guy Dennis I can't say his name right, but he's with the head pollster for Trafalgar, and
Hmm.
last time he said that he thought it was a 6 to 7% effect, the shy Trump voter, and especially in the state polls. And if you look back to the Real Clear Politics average on some of these states, Trump was running 5, 6 points ahead of him, especially like Pennsylvania and Michigan, Wisconsin. And he said he thinks it's worse this year than it was then. So he thinks it could be even 8 or 9 points. So that's why a lot of these national polls where they show Biden up like 7, 8, 9 points, that might be a tie or him up only one. And they're really skewing to put Democratic samples. I mean, I guess we're going to find out tonight, right? We're going to see were the polls right or
Yeah.
were they wrong.
Yeah, we will. Like I said, if the polls are wrong this time, these guys are out of jobs.
Absolutely.
I don't care what nobody say. You're out of a job. You're obviously missing something. You
Right.
like-
Right. They'll break it. It's
so
over. It's over. The polling it like Nate Silver and these guys. He should have been done the last time, realistically. I mean,
if if Trump wins, basically he's gonna cause an industry. That's one industry he will get rid
yeah.
of. That's some
Yeah.
people gonna lose jobs in that
That should have been
industry.
part of his platform. I'll get rid of the pollsters, you know?
Yeah, but right before we had got shut down by YouTube, we was talking about the market, and you was talking about how you felt it was overvalued and that you were bearish regardless. I mean, that's the same exact way I feel about the market being bearish regardless of who wins. I think what we were talking about before was just short term fluctuations based off who wins right
Right.
now. But for me personally, the market is more overvalued than it's been in literally decades. And there's numbers out there to show that the price to earnings ratio is like ridiculous at this point. Regarding this is not a President Trump thing. This is not an Obama thing. This is just the market is inflated. Especially a lot of these tech companies that really don't make any money.
Right.
It's all just speculation in terms of where they're getting their valuations from. But and also, like you said, we're talking about debt and how much money we're gonna have to keep spending for the stimulus and how inflated this stuff is. I mean, we come up with another $2 trillion stimulus. We're already 27 trillion in debt. That's gonna put us up to 29 trillion. We're our debt, the total our total debt to GDP ratio is 130%. Countries start to get in trouble historically when they get over 100%.
Right.
We're at 130. We literally cannot afford a stimulus, really, to be quite honest
Yeah,
with you.
people just ignore it. That's the funny part, is that as long as it keeps coming, they don't really care. You remember Obama said that it was unpatriotic for Bush to add like $4 or $5 trillion to the national debt, and it was almost 10 trillion. And then Bush had basically doubled it from 4 or 5 to 10. Obama doubled it from 10 to 20, but he was knocking him. And now we're at a point where we're at 24, whatever it is, $1 trillion in debt, and nobody cares as long as their bills are getting paid and they got a new car, whatever. Nobody's paying attention, but all that stuff's going to catch up, and the dollar's just going to be worthless at a certain point. Which brought me back to where we left off, that I think that if the dream nightmare scenario, that if Donald Trump loses, I really think that everything's going to come crashing down. COVID will probably get worse at some point before it gets better. Who knows? And um, Trump will be able to sit there for 4 years and just be a thorn in Biden's side. Biden's not going to run again. And then he'll be able to come at the Democratic nominee and say, hey, when I left, there was a record stock market, right? I was getting coronavirus under control. We had come out with a vaccine, and you guys tanked the whole economy. And he'll be the same age as Biden, and he could run again. And he'll be able to bring back that coalition with minority voters and, foreigners, just different groups of people that only Trump can do, I think. That's why he was a godsend for the party in my mind.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting part about it because, to be quite honest with you, as much as I want President Trump to win, looking at, the upcoming correction that a lot of people are calling for, that seems to be inevitable, like an actual real correction. We're not talking about the COVID, you know, go down to 20,000 and then bounce back literally, the next week, 2 weeks. Now we're not talking about that. We're talking about a real prolonged correction. That's not gonna look good for any president, right? And they're not gonna be able to just blame the last administration. So I think that that's one thing that President Trump, if he happens to lose in terms of his reputation on the economy, he could be dodging a bullet. I mean, in terms of, not necessarily that the stock market is an accurate representation of the economy, but, it is a way for the average consumer to look at how at least a big business is doing in America. So, in a simplistic way.
Right.
But it's one of those things where I just think that what is probably going to happen in the next 1 to 3 years. I mean, there's companies, all the big mutual fund companies are predicting moderate growth. We talking about like 45%, and they're all bearish as well over the next decade. Really, to be quite honest with you, the growth that we've seen since the Great Recession has been unprecedented. I mean, we've gone 10, 12 plus years. Just
Right.
positive year after year gains. We're talking about 10, 12% a year. That's not something that's sustainable. And everybody agrees that, everything is overvalued at this point. So, it's just a matter of time before things correct itself. And whoever president that it corrects itself under is going to be, they're going to have a bad time, explaining like, oh, what happened with this, especially with this COVID stuff and Biden coming in, making all these promises and he started increasing taxes
Right.
with that as well. That's going to make the Republican argument look a lot stronger come 2024. So, Biden, I mean, man, if he, like I said, it might look rough for him inheriting this if he actually wins. It won't look good for him come 2024 slash Kamala as
No, yeah,
well.
whoever, I think whatever party wins, the only thing I can say is that if Trump manages to win now, because I think without COVID, he blows this thing out of the water. I'm still hopeful
Yeah.
that he's going to do it tonight. But without that, there was nothing to knock him on, because as I was saying, that the economy showed up, it was like the top issue for 34% of voters. Second, I think, was COVID with like 21%. No, second was actually maybe racial justice, 21%, and then COVID, but 40% was racial justice and COVID, 34% was the economy, and 11% was crime and safety. So those are two Trump issues with about 45% there. So again, I think that's pretty good. But um, without COVID, if he wins with COVID, that just shows that he could basically pull off anything. So I think he would be able to, if we have a crash, let's say within the next year, by the time his term's ending, I think you'd be in a good recovery in 2 or 3 years, right? And he'd be able to say, look how I got us out of that. That wasn't my fault. That was the world, crashed. And only Trump could do that. So if he loses, whoever gets in is toast. And I think he could come back and he'd be doing rallies for 4 years. Because it was kind of sad last night at midnight, they were saying it's the last MAGA rally ever, because he started campaigning essentially 4 years ago and he's been doing these the whole time. But it's like, what's he going to do them for now if it's his last term? That
Yeah,
could be a silver lining.
yeah. It won't be. It'll be. You know what he'll do? He'll do his. It won't be the last one. Even if he loses, it'll be his rally for 2024
Why
or something like that.
somebody just said some real voter fraud going on. MLE, are you hearing stuff? Or because Trump actually just tweeted a couple minutes ago and he just said, we're looking really good all over the country, thank you. So who knows? Everybody says they're doing well now, but Eric Trump.
What is Biden talking
Well,
about? Is
it's
Biden said
not him.
anything?
No,
Has he
it's
said
not him
anything?
anyways. What's funny is I'm just praying he loses. He went in Scranton, I think, in the old house he used to live in when he was like 8, and he wrote on the wall, like, from this wall to the walls of the White House or something, and then signed it like
Yeah.
Joe Biden and put today's date. And I'm like, man, that's gonna be so pointless if you lose.
Yeah, man. I think I saw a tweet where they was talking about how they're gonna try. I mean, I think both sides are actually probably trying to do this, but they're gonna try to claim victory. If there's no one decided
Yeah.
tonight, they're gonna try to claim victory regardless of what happens.
Geez, I don't like this. I'm looking in these betting on that predicted site, and
Hmm.
the most money now is on the Dems winning the popular vote by like 6-7 and 7-9.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's not looking good. But the thing about that predicted site is you can only put up to $850 on anything. So it's just people playing. Some people are playing with $5 or $10, and they keep moving stuff around. Um, and I don't know where they're getting their information, but I do know a guy in England today bet $5 million on President Trump, and they said they think it's the largest political bet in history. Yeah, five
What?
million he put on Trump to win. So that's the big money talking. So let's see. But I'm just wondering what information. I think people are basing this off the exit polls. I really do, because there's no other hard numbers other than what we're seeing in Florida, and that looks good. So Florida's looking good. Arizona, North Carolina, even Nevada. They're saying there's a chance for us to flip there. Minnesota. So I don't know, other than in the exit polls, because the exit polls, the other questions seem really skewed, like heavily one way. So that's what makes it not make sense to me. Like they asked if you favor or oppose government health care, and like 70% said they favor, and I'm like, that's no way, because when it was for Obamacare, 80% said they were happy with their private health insurance. So that would be a total flip. That doesn't seem accurate to me.
I mean, the super liberals swear up and down that the whole country wants
Well,
Medicare
right.
for
So,
all.
and maybe they're right, man. Right? Like, this is going to show if these things are really right. I just don't see it. I don't see that this record turnout we're getting in Republican counties, and they're turning out more than the Democrats. And I'm seeing this everywhere. They said in parts of Virginia and parts of Minnesota that the Republican turnout's way up and Democrats are lagging. So I don't know who to believe.
Well, we gonna find out tonight. I mean, that's for sure in terms of where this country's actually at. I mean, I don't believe him because I mean, Bernie Sanders' whole campaign was on Medicare for all. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And he still couldn't win. So if everybody really wanted it that much, if they do, if it's true, then it's not an important issue
Right.
apparently, right? But if not, then again, we're gonna find out tonight because I don't think Trump is for Medicare for all.
No, that's the thing, man. You couldn't have a more what they call a choice election than this. It isn't even close.
Yeah.
It's every issue there's a difference. I really didn't see any time during either of their debates where they were like, "Well, I would do that," or "I agree with that." Maybe just saying about pre-existing conditions, President Trump would say he'll cover that, but that's really it, And then maybe Joe supports fracking now, but I can't really find anything they agree on. So if this is the direction the country goes, um, then I think we get what we deserve, right? If we elect somebody like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to run this country, then that's what we deserve. And there's nobody to blame but ourselves. And I think that we'll deserve those hard times that we're going to get. The people who voted for them will probably get hurt the most, right? And you'll see more division, more riots, and you're not going to see the country coming together. Because for somebody that was so racist, as they call President Trump, he was able to double his amount of black supporters, make huge increases with Hispanics, and then he's racist and xenophobic. So he loses white voters because of that, but gets more minorities. Because no matter what happens, you're going to see that in the numbers. So I think that that's a phony narrative, and I just hope that we have the strength to overcome this because a lot of people say high turnout would be bad for us, and I think it's the opposite. I think people are fighting back and that they're ready to take the country back because they don't like what they've been seeing all summer and they don't like all this radical talk. And if that's what they want, then I'm in the wrong place, I guess, because I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the thing is, I think a part of it, the appeal of President Trump to minorities is that, especially men, is that we're not on the attack against men train, right? The left obviously has a agenda against men and masculinity and being a man, and I think a lot of um, minority, quote unquote, minority men really are just not down with it,
Right,
right? Like we just not down with that agenda where taking down the patriarchy and dismantling the
right.
nuclear family. And I think a lot of Trump represents is old school masculinity. That's what President Trump represents. And I think a lot of people are drawn to that. And I think, a lot of conservative women are drawn to that too. I mean, on my channel, I've been pleasantly surprised by how many women actually watch my stuff and come to my channel and whatnot and resonate with what I'm saying, especially because I feel like I say a lot of things that are pro patriarchy, right? And they're like, no, we accept the patriarchy. We want the patriarchy. Like, we understand men need to be men.
Right.
And that's a pleasant surprise to me. That I found on my channel, and I think it's also plays in, it's a good thing that plays into President Trump's hand is that, he does represent to a certain extent the old school values, at least from a gender role standpoint.
No, absolutely. And I look, people always say like, oh, the greatest generation about the generation that fought in World War II, or hey, they don't make people like that anymore, this guy and that guy. But part of that's true because it was that culture, right? It was that culture, the way people were raised to, respect your parents and how to work hard and save your money and all those things that you're told that are good things. Those are starting to be looked down on. And you can't take what built this country because we know we made a ton of mistakes, but those things were still the right thing to do. That was still, those are still, to this day, that hasn't changed. So the fact that they're trying to do that now, I think is a huge mistake. And we'll look back on this and say that this was the downfall of the country and we'll need somebody like Trump to rebuild. And I don't want to get in that mindset yet. We haven't seen one return yet. We got no idea what's happening. These exit polls are all over the place. And like I said, the numbers in Florida still look good. I think we're in good position. And if I'm wrong, then we're everything's wrong. We're gonna lose. That's the way I think this election's gonna go, right? I don't see it being tight at all. I think either Trump wins most or all of the swing states, or he loses them all, or Biden wins most or all, or he loses them all. I just felt things going a certain way, and it looked like the polls were wrong to me, and I still feel that way. So if we're wrong, I don't know what your prediction exactly is, but if we're wrong, we'll be like everybody else was in 2016, who said, "Oh, Hillary's going to win this landslide and Trump doesn't have a chance," and he did. I feel the exact
I'm gonna
opposite, you know?
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think it's gonna be close. I think Trump is gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be announced tonight. I'm gonna keep it a whole buck with you. I don't think it's gonna be announced tonight. I really don't.
The only way that happens is if he loses a state like Georgia or North Carolina, um, anything like that. If Texas is remotely close, like 1 or 2%, he's losing too. But we will. That's a huge state, and they're in a different time zone, so who knows about returns there. But if he loses anything like or something even like Ohio, he's got to be running ahead in those states because he won states like Ohio by 10 points. You know, he won North Carolina by 4 points, Georgia by 5 points. You know, so if now those states are only like a point or he loses one, it's lights out. You know, so that's what we
Yeah.
need to watch for. We just this is all about margins right now. So you guys who are going to be looking at the returns as they come in, the best thing you can do is as a state comes in, look if they show you a county that says 100% reporting, go on Wikipedia and just click that state, you know, Ohio 2016, whatever. Look at the county list and it'll tell you. So if you see Trump winning by 5 and that's a county that he won by 1 or 2 before, that's a good sign. You know, if you see a county where he's losing by 10 and he won it before, we're going to have a bad night. You know, like it's really that simple. But
I got the live results up right now. Some of the votes are coming in from Indiana.
oh, they started putting some
Um,
out?
yeah, man.
You're going to make me take
Indiana.
off. I'm about to start running.
Oh, you
No,
about to, you gonna dip out? You gonna dip out with 500 people up here,
let me
bro?
see. Where are you getting these on? New
He's like,
York
yeah, I'm
Times?
going. Now, I'm looking at the electoral map. It's actually it's on the screen. If I mean, I'm not sure if you're looking
But
at it,
where?
but it is on
Who's
the
got the
screen.
results?
It's the I just Googled electoral map and it looks like it's from the election center. It's probably from ABC. It looks like.
Let's see.
Oh, the Associated Press. My bad. It's from the Associated Press.
Let's see. AP map results. Huh. Live election results.
You see the same thing I'm seeing?
Yeah, I don't see any. Oh, forecast. Oh, great. So Trump's got a 14% chance of winning. They're saying now. That's better than Nate Silver's 10%. You see that? We're up 40%. Just got to keep that up. I want this to be a 2016 repeat. 14, 15, 25, 40. Let's see. Oh, look at they got their odds on here too. Um, Florida they have 65-35 odds, but again, that's without any results. Yeah, Indiana says closing at 7 because I think the first polls close at 7, so I don't know what they would be getting.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually I was looking at the results for Indiana right now that's come in. Looks like he's leading 67% to 35 to 30%. Just all you gotta do is just I don't well I'm using Yahoo search, but if you Yahoo search electoral just I do, but this I yeah. I mean, hey, bro, if you want to take off, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you know. Oh my goodness, Mario not giving you guys nothing. He's a nerd, man. He's a nerd. Hmm.
View full results. Let's see. Okay, yeah, these they do have some counties, but it's so little reporting, right? So,
Oh my God, it looked like your light shut off again, man.
oh, it probably switched again. I don't know why it does that. Ah, shoot.
Yo. Yeah, you should. You said your Skype thing be switching? Hold on. One sec. It's good thing I don't have to restart my computer. At least it looks like for right now. We kept the stream up, so it should be fine. Whew, this was a lucky one.
Yeah.
Then had to reset back up.
Let's see.
Cause usually what happens when you log out of this on OBS, OBS messes up, so I got to restart the whole computer. But let's see, it should be back up.
All right.
All right, guys, can you hear me?
All right. How we looking?
It looks good to me on my thing. Just waiting for confirmation on the sound. Yeah, it looks like they can hear us. All right, cool.
All
Yeah,
right.
we got
So
lucky, guys, because usually I got to restart when this happens, but I didn't have to restart, so we got up quick. Go ahead, Mario.
so I know I just took a peek at some of these results coming in. So this DeKalb County, last time President Trump won it 71-23, and it says they got 66% reporting, and he's winning at 68-29.
Hmm.
So that's pretty close because obviously I think they put the mail votes in first that lean more Democratic.
You got a
So
link to that?
that's on USA Today's results. So I see that one coming up, and then I see, okay, Dubois County or Du Bois, I don't know how you say it. Um, that was 66.8-27, and it looks like now it's 67-31 with 70% reporting. So again, those ones look a tiny bit behind where he was before, but the full result's not in. And what I'm guessing is that the polls don't close in Indiana till 7. So legally, I don't think they're allowed to release election day voting. So what they must have done is just dumped any of the people who did like the mail in early vote or whatever they have there, and that
Hmm.
the other 30% is going to be election day, which should be heavily skewed to Trump, like it is in Florida, where he's
Hmm.
winning by 30 or 40 points. So those margins actually look pretty close right now. And then if that other third, because both those counties, one says 70%, one says 67. So if they both end up having like a third of them come in where they're 2-1 or 3-1 Trump, then they're going to bump those margins up more, and he might be looking right back with those. But those ones are hard to tell because they're heavily one way. So he might do a tiny bit worse there, but then he does a little better somewhere else. So that's hard to. Yeah, man, I think I got to dive into this information now and start looking at these exit polls and just get ready for. I hope it's not a long night, and if it is a long night, I hope it's long because Trump's doing so well, and we just need to look into what's going on in Pennsylvania and get the lawyers in. But
Yeah, I was looking at I pulled up this USA Today. I'm looking at DeKalb County, which you was talking about,
mm-hmm. What's it
and
saying now?
68.4 to 29.9 Trump.
Yeah, and see, last time it was 71-23.
Hmm.
So you see the difference there where he won it by whatever that is, almost 50 points, 48 points. It was exactly 48 points, and now what do we got?
For which one?
DeKalb.
DeKalb. At least what I'm saying is 68.4 to 29.9.
Yeah, 68 to 29. So that's not even 40 points, right?
Yeah.
And before it was 48 points. But again, like I said, that I think that's early vote, so that Democratic part of the vote is going to be higher in there, so that margin can grow because Indiana's polls don't close till 7, and everywhere says polls closing at 7 where they start releasing votes. So this must just be early, so that could be a good sign, but we need to get in 100% reporting because once something says 100 and you see it, that's going to give you a good idea. But I don't know if I can be on this call when it happens, man. I'm getting so nervous right now just seeing
I
that.
know, man. I know.
I think yeah, I might
Yeah,
need
I
to crack
know.
a beer.
I'm gonna what we'll probably end up doing is that we might I'm gonna talk to Mario, guys. I'm gonna talk to Mario to see if he want to hop back on when it's more clear, especially if it comes very clear that Trump is gonna win.
Yes, then you'll see me. If you guys see me
Yeah,
again, it's a great sign. It's
yeah,
a great
yeah.
sign. If you
Uh,
don't see me for like 2 weeks, then it's a bad sign. But
that is,
yeah, let's
I
get
mean,
it. I'll call you or something, and you can go ahead and tell them what the plan is, I guess. And guys, if you haven't, at least please subscribe to me, and then I'll yeah, stay on. We need you. I can't, Mike. I'm losing it already. I'm turning into a ball of nerves right now.
yeah, I'm definitely about to get a few drinks in. Somebody said I
There
need a
you
beer.
go.
I'm definitely
Yeah.
about to get some in,
Yes.
and loosen up a little bit before this stuff start rolling in.
Yes. But yeah, man, let's plan to link back up if it's looking good, and if not, can't get down and out forever. And like I said, the country will deserve what it did to itself, and I think we'll have Trump rallies for 4 years. So we'll see
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happens.
yeah, man, yeah, yeah. It's starting to it's definitely starting to pick up. It's here. It's here. What we all been
They're
waiting
asking
for.
what
So.
my channel and my page is. Guys, it's right in the description there. It's making the case with Mario Frado, and it's in blue there if you're looking at it on the screen. I guess that's on the computer. I don't know what it looks like on there. But yeah, just put in Mario Frado or making the case with Mario, and you'll find me. But if not, just click there. And I could use the subscribers because they're taking them every day. So thanks for listening to us, guys, and hopefully we're back real soon telling you we just won a landslide.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. Well, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take you off of OBS real quick so my thing doesn't mess up with the audience.
Okay.
One sec. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and hang up. All right. See you. All right, guys. So Mario, it looks like he's gonna get caught up in his math game with the election results. I just want to stick up here just a little bit, just to see if you guys had any questions, last minute questions before I go. Hopefully, we're gonna come back up here. I'm gonna talk to him and try to get him to get back up here before the end of the night. Especially if President Trump is winning, I'm pretty sure he would. But yes, I will be live tweeting. I will be live tweeting. You can follow me at gformanbcp on Twitter, and I will be live tweeting. But I definitely won't be live streaming because I would like I would like to have a guest and not just be talking to myself while I'm live streaming. So um, yeah, guys, go add Mario. His channel. He's been suffering a lot from the YouTube censorship. So go check him out and go from there. And guys, kind of honestly, like it's so early right now that we're not gonna know anything until the votes really start to pull in. I mean, right now it looks like for Kentucky, we still only got 10% for Kentucky, and then we're at 4% for 5% for Indiana, which is still red, and New Hampshire we only got 1%. So that's where we're at right now. And it looks like in 2016, Kentucky went red. So that 10%. Like I said, I wouldn't panic right now, but it's Kentucky. So hopefully that once we get more votes in, that will even out a little bit more for Trump. It is definitely far from over. Yeah, Kentucky went red in 2016. I don't think we're communists as Biden win, but we're definitely going to be moving in the direction of more socialized policy programs for sure. Yeah, I am from North Carolina, guys. I do live in North Carolina. Um, I live in the Piedmont region. Yes, cops are gearing up for potential riots. Um, the main cities that it's happening in are the big cities, the big liberal cities. I mean, I was telling some people this earlier today. For me personally, when it comes to the riots in terms of what's going to happen after the election, I think that for sure, if President Trump wins, the liberals are going to riot a lot more than the conservatives would if Joe Biden wins. That's not to say that conservatives wouldn't do it, but it's not like there's a ton of us living in big cities. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for me to see it being um, nearly as much initial outrage from conservatives if Biden was to win, at least what they would be able to display on television. Because again, most of this boarding up is happening in the big cities because they're literally gonna shit their pants if President Trump wins again. And they always leave bricks on the corners. They all that's what happened earlier with these George Floyd protests, which really made me sketch about the George Floyd protests, is that it seems like every single time these protests and riots happen and the government knows they're gonna happen, for whatever reason, nobody's smart enough to pick up these random bricks that are always found everywhere. So it's weird to me. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I think regardless of who wins, we're definitely going to see some protests and riots. But especially if it comes down to where we start to see more obvious instances of voter fraud, or some states really messing around with the polling stations and things of that nature. Depends on how it's going. Either side could definitely we could definitely see some type of some outrage and stuff like that coming up. Yes, they say I look like Kanye. The people that they say I look like the most are Mike Tomlin, Kanye, Omar Epps. Um, yeah, those are the three that they say I look like. Thank you, Skippy. Multi Skippy, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that Maxine Waters interview was messed up, man. She offended me. She offended me. She triggered me in that interview. I mean, because I felt like she was talking to me specifically. She was trying to tell me that only reason to vote for Trump because I think we're gonna get some money. And it's like, nah, ain't the Democrats the party of reparations? You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't even make sense to me. So I don't know why she would even say that. Thanks, David. I try to be a voice of reason. Definitely gonna mean, regardless of who wins, definitely gonna keep it up. Yeah, it's the American truth. Yes, it's hard. I props to Tatum and ABL for being able to do live streams alone. Because this is my first time doing it, and that's why I let Mario off because I wanted to just kind of get a feel for it. I'm not gonna be up here for too much longer, guys, to be quite honest with you, but I just want to get a feel for doing it by myself and kind of seeing what it would be like. But it is definitely awkward for sure. But people do whole shows on live streams and videos, so They do that because I think it's easier way for them to hop on trendy topics really quickly to get a lot of views at one time. So it's one of those things I may need to get on that train. But I'm in a process of I'm gonna buy another computer that is gonna be a lot more powerful than the one that I have right now, so it can be able to handle more complex streaming and stuff like that, and so I can really get my content upgraded. But right now I'm using some ancient alien technology. When it comes to what I'm streaming with. So I'm definitely working on getting my setup upgraded. But yeah, I try to. And then one thing, also something else I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna get more guests, and I'm gonna try to host debates on my channel. Have some more liberal perspectives, and hopefully have some debates, in which we all can learn a little bit more and be entertained by um, some different perspectives and just some more entertainment, some intellectual stimulation. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it. Jericho Green is good. I am definitely a fan of Jericho Green. The reason why is because he curses a lot, and I don't think he cares about getting paid from YouTube. So I respect that because he literally never has ads on his videos, and I'm like, how do you have so many subscribers and then you're literally just not getting paid from YouTube? And I think he does that because he can 100% authentically be himself. Um, so I really respect that. Hey Tanisha, how you doing? And guys, feel free to ask me questions. Like I said, I mean, um, right now this stuff coming in so slow is only so much I can really I can really talk about. Oh, and there we go. Kentucky flip red, guys. Just like we said, the 14% in. Let me reload to make sure that's the case. That's why I'm saying, like, this early, there's really nothing. Like, for example, New Hampshire's definitely probably gonna go blue. But like I said, that's why this early there's really not much that really we can really take too much away from this without going deep, deep, deep inside um, what's actually happening at the county level. And quite honestly, I don't have as much knowledge as Mario in regards to the counties and things of that nature. I mean, Mario really should be on Fox News talking about this stuff because his knowledge on this stuff is great. I'm on probably only gonna be up here just a few minutes. I think it's gonna be close, guys. I think that most likely we're not gonna see any announcement tonight. To be quite honest with you, which honestly is really a worst case scenario to me. But I just I believe the polls a little bit more than other people do. Do I believe it? Do I believe it's gonna be a Joe Biden blowout? No. I do think President Trump is gonna win, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna completely discount data because that's the only data that we have. But somebody like Mario has more in-depth knowledge than I do in terms of what's happening at a county level and a historical perspective on the electoral map. But like I said, I do subscribe to his interpretation of what's going to happen. But I'm also not the type of person to claim to know something that I don't know. Right? Quite honestly, I don't know who's going to win. I hope President Trump wins. I think he's going to win, but if I don't know something, I'll just tell you I don't know. So at this point, I really don't know. I mean, I can't sit here and say that, oh, I'm just completely ignoring the polls and the data because I'm not the type of person to completely ignore polls and data just because again that's the only empirical evidence that we have. But that's not to say that in 2016 it's kind of proved that you know this stuff may not be as accurate as they make it out to be, and that the silent Trump vote could actually be a lot more significant than what they're letting on as well. So, we just never know. And I'm just the type of person where I'm just kind of like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit back and just, you know, see what happens and hope for the best. I'm not really gonna get too deep into clinging to a certain prediction. Like I see a lot of people saying Trump's gonna win big. Trump's gonna win big. I hope he does, but quite honestly, I don't know, right? And I guess some people are saying that because they just want to be positive, and I get having a positive attitude about it. But my personality is just too I'm just too like real on it from a personality perspective, and just too practical for me to really be gun ho about it. It being a landslide. I don't necessarily know if it'll be a landslide. I hope it is, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not called tonight. Which, if it's not called tonight, that's gonna be a really bad situation for us in terms of a civil conflict, because I think that if it's not decided tonight, you're going to hear both sides really start to come at each other in terms of trying to delegitimize the election. And if it goes to Supreme Court, with Amy Coney Barrett being there, that's why she's so important. And some of these decisions that we see that the Supreme Court is kind of putting off, um, it's really going to get bloody, right? If it's not decided tonight. But and that's my worst fear, is that it's not decided tonight. However, my gut feeling tells me that um, it may not be decided tonight. But honestly, I don't know. I hope it is. I pray to God that it's decided tonight, and that President Trump, tomorrow I can wake up and President Trump is going to be president for the next 4 years. And we don't have to deal with, packing the court and, dealing with these Supreme Court cases, a Bush Gore situation where we're sitting here trying to decide, who all the electoral votes from Florida is going to go to, and whether these mail-in ballots are legitimate. I don't really want to go through that. I just don't. It's not good for the country. We're already pretty divided. The best thing that can happen tonight is a clear, straight out victory from either side. That is the best thing that can happen here tonight. Now I can't stay on all night. I'm gonna try to hop back up here with Mario, especially if it looks like we already kind of have a clear winner. So that's what the plan is. But I'm definitely gonna stay up all night. Who knows? Maybe I will hop back up here, or maybe regardless of what he do, I might hop back up here just to check in on everybody and see how they feeling, everything like that. Do you have any tips for fighting YouTube censorship? Yes and no. So there is a spreadsheet of demonetized words that I like to use. That shows you which words you may use in videos that may be dismonetized, that may be demonetized, and it works pretty often. That's why some of my video titles may be weird, right? They may sound funny because I'm trying to avoid um using certain um words that may trigger the algorithm to demonetize my videos. And I deal with that like so much. Some of my videos being demonetized like for no reason, and YouTube will literally demonetize a video when I post it. And then it's a video that's a perfectly good topic to talk about, nothing controversial. And then I'll have to wait 24 hours for them to actually monetize the video, and I basically had lost all the money that I would have made off that video. So YouTube is, at the end of the day, man, like the best way to fight censorship is to just keep putting out content. The more content you put out, the harder it is for them to censor you from a standpoint of taking away your money. Now there's some videos where you just don't want to talk about certain topics, right? Like, I'm not going to be up here talking about an organization that starts with, Q, because I saw what happened to these other channels that talked about that, and they got they got deplatformed. So I don't want that to happen to my channel. So there's certain things you just got to realize. All right, we just can't talk about it. We might be able to talk about it in a roundabout way, but it's just some things where you just got to realize. All right, just stay away from that topic. Or CP, right? For example, with Hunter Biden's laptop, I'm not. I talked about it, but I didn't go into too much detail about it, or the the sex tapes and anything like that. That type of stuff is, you just got to use your common sense in terms of what YouTube may be cool with and may not be cool with. That's just my advice for anybody, trying to fight censorship. Amazing Lucas, I am familiar with Amazing Lucas. I think he's good. I think he has some interesting opinions. I believe he used to be more to the right than he was back in the day, but apparently he has moved left, particularly with the police shootings, I think. Which, I'm not necessarily sure if that really should be as much as a left and right issue as we're making it out to be, really, to be quite honest with you. But I do like his channel. He does a lot of game stuff too, but I'm not really into that, and I think he kind of does mixes the two a little bit too much for me. So I don't really check him out that much. I really check out ABL, who is probably who I watch the most, um, because I think he gives the best in-depth analysis out of all the big ones that I know, like Tatum and Jericho Green and Amazing Lucas, and there may be some other guys I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but I think he gives the best analysis out of all of them. So that's why I listen to him the most. I just respect his opinion. I really have a high opinion of him and what he does, and how he carries this and presents himself on YouTube. So all right, let's see if I can find any election news. It looks like you guys are saying some things are coming in. Oh, let's see. So it looks like Kentucky has been called for Trump. Again, guys, when it was at 10% and it was leading Joe Biden, people was freaking out for no reason. You just never know with this stuff, guys, this early. And then it looks like Vermont has been called for Biden with 0% of the vote in, which is interesting. But, some of these states, man, you just get a couple votes and you already know what's up just because of how they vote historically. Oh, man, let's see. Indiana still with only 8%. New Hampshire is only 1%. So we still got a ways to go. Oh my God. Come on. Thanks, Tanisha. I appreciate it. You got Fox on your laptop, got me on your phone. I appreciate that. Yeah, I would like to go live with them as well, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys about Tatum. I reached out to him back when I had like 25,000 subscribers. We were scheduled to go live 2 weeks later, and I checked in with him. I think the Monday before the Thursday live, and we were all good to go. And then Thursday came up when I was supposed to go live, like literally the day I was supposed to go live, and then he basically said um, that he had to reschedule for whatever reason. And then that same night he went live with Jericho Green and ABL. So after that, they said they would reschedule, and they didn't email me back to reschedule. So I emailed him again, and he said he rescheduled after the election. So at this point, the ball is in Tatum's court. I've reached out and tried to get on with him and to try to get on that live stream. But like I said, I mean, it just hasn't really worked out. I try not to say too much about it because I don't really want to be negative. Like, I think that at the end of the day, he's a busy guy, and he probably has his reasons. But at this point, the ball is in his court after the election. I'm gonna wait probably about a week to see if he reaches out, and if he doesn't, I'll reach out one more time. And if he doesn't respond the next time I reach out, or if he, still kind of kicking the ball down the road for whatever reason, then I'm probably just gonna let it be because, I'm doing my thing. But no, I mean, don't think anything. Come on back. But yeah, I don't want you guys to think anything negative about Tatum at all. Just I'm pretty sure it's not personal. It's probably just him doing his thing and being more comfortable with ABL and Jericho Green. And when you bring in a new guy on, you got to have him vetted. You got to make sure he not gonna say stuff, certain things that you may not necessarily agree with, or you got to get to know him a little bit. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And maybe once he becomes less busy, it will shape up. Um, so I don't necessarily want to put anything negative out there. I'm just letting you guys know what the truth is in regards to what's going on with Tatum, because I've been trying to make that happen. I was excited as anybody to possibly go on his stream, and it just didn't happen. Yeah, I try to do as much research as I can. When I before I do a video, um I try to make sure I know what I'm talking about for the most part. I try to be if as analytical, if not more analytical than ABL, right? That's why I strive to be. And I think at the same time I also am not as entertaining as Tatum, but I think that um I think I'm probably more analytical than he is, to be quite honest with you. But I also feel like I can bring a little bit of an entertaining factor, a little bit of that personality to the table. But I try to make sure that I'm educating people first, right? I want people to know what's going on. I want people to know their facts. I want people to have arguments they can use against liberals. Because I mean, again, this is all about the debate of ideas, right? If we're trying to fight the left, you got to be able to argue with them, you know, on a certain level in terms of having your facts, being able to, know what their argument is and to be able to understand that argument and to turn it on its head. And that's why, I always tell people, when people ask me, what news I watch, what I consume, I watch everything. I watch everything because I want to know what the enemy is thinking. I want to know what their argument is. I want to know how to deconstruct Medicare for all. I want to know how to deconstruct the minimum wage. I want to know how to deconstruct free college. I want to know how to break down all that stuff, because when you're arguing with people like that, you want to be able to speak their language, right? You want to understand the difference between gender and sex, right? Like, because that's usually how the left argues, where they say, well, you don't understand what gender is. You don't understand, that gender is a social construct, right? Like, that's how they argue with you, and they try to use semantics to try to make it seem like you're dumb and you don't know what they're talking about. You're not on the same wavelength, as if they're above you. So you have to make sure that you understand all that stuff and what they're talking about, even what they're talking about is nonsense. I try to make sure I understand it so I can at least argue back with them and be able to not go back and forth about semantics rather than actual arguing on the facts and the data. Tanisha, I live in North Carolina. Virginia, please wake up. Communism's not the way to go. That's funny. All right, so we got Florida coming in at 9%. Trump is up 51%. That's a great sign, guys, early on. Virginia's in 1%. They're up. Trump is up in Virginia. Trump is also up in South Carolina. 1% is coming in. So that Florida 9% Trump coming in is a great sign. So yeah, now that this stuff is really starting to come in, I'm probably gonna go ahead and peace out and watch this and let you guys watch a more entertaining live stream, and then I'll maybe check back in with you guys with Mario, depending on how things are going. Florida's almost 17%. I'm looking at 9. Up 16. Yeah, now I reloaded. Yeah, Trump is still up. That's great. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and peace out. Like I said, if Trump wins, I'll definitely be back up here. Hopefully, I'm gonna get Mario back up here, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But best of luck to you. Best of luck to President Trump. Hopefully, we can celebrate it in the night, guys. I'll see y'all soon.